Much there?
So now we've got two. Now I always try and put these together too early, so I don't want to do it. So essentially, it just push fits. One of the things that we've discovered, the guys who run our global events are really excited about this because it's going to enable them to put together large battlefields very quickly, and you can also unclip these things when you're ready to and put it back into a relatively
I think,
small space.
Yeah, the whole thing actually, if you leave the kind of floors off, then the whole thing. Oh, I took about those.
We need to do a bit more clipping.
If you take the floors out, the whole thing packs back into the box.
There you go.
Pretty much. So that's pretty easy.
Which is nice if you're looking for somewhere to store your models.
And I think we're almost there. Almost there.
Perfect. So one of the things I think that's quite nice about this is I speed painted my entire battlefield, but it took me all of a Saturday to build and then all of a Sunday to speed paint, and it's still not of the same quality as the completion on this. And so you've done the first building in what? The amount of time it's taken us to talk about this. There we go.
Hello.
And it really does look wonderful. You can see the bulkhead door and everything inside it. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm quite pleased with the effect I've got on some of the glow there as well. I think the dry brushing I've achieved on this.
Taking credit for all this work?
Yeah, I just made this. You all saw it.
Lovely. Nice. So this is on its way later in the year. It will come behind all of the other starter products.
I'm not really interested in painting, but I see the appeal.
Towards the autumn time or beyond, right?
Yeah, and in
no,
terms
it's still
of
the same,
price,
yeah?
This one comes in, it has twice as much terrain as the Combat Patrol Battlefield, and it comes in at a little bit more than the cost of 2 Combat Patrols.
There you go. So, yeah, really exciting. Whew. Okay.
Maybe.
So,
how bad is it? Is it passable or not? Because I can't hear it.
Ready paint terrain, very exciting. I guess we should talk a little bit about the things that are coming along with the first codex of 11th
we should
edition.
probably do that.
So it's time to look at some orcs.
You want some wheels? Get yourself a truck. I got all the trucks. Big trucks, bigger trucks, the best trucks. They's got all the gubbins and guns. Grabbing claws, grabby bits,
Going for group again.
rockets,
What
you
group?
name it. Remember, walking is for kids and grog.
It's better than before.
Go fast or go home.
Vehicles may explode when fired upon. Safety of transported boys is
Okay,
guaranteed.
fine. You messaged the group again.
It's time to be an orc this year, isn't it?
It is. They are getting absolutely spoiled. We can confirm today.
I'll have to check it. I haven't streamed
and alongside
properly
the
for
codex, there are
like
a
a
whole
year,
bunch
so-
of new miniatures.
And I
One of the
normally
most
stream on
exciting
Twitch, so my
miniatures on
settings
its
are
way is
generally
that new truck
set up for
and
Twitch,
that new
but-
mech, which are on their
Should we
way.
talk about the mech first?
Let's do the mech first. So, orc mechs, those of you who know
I don't
orcs
know,
will
we'll
know,
see.
these are the mechanics that basically put together all of the weird and wonderful creations that's going
can't
on
stand up
alongside
because
your
I've got
orcs. They are
nothing on from the
surprisingly
waist
good at
down.
science.
Odd boys with the
Yeah.
innate knowledge to just make awesome things out of scrap.
Gene-coded, innate, kind of inherited knowledge in terms of how to make things like teleporters and trucks and guns and
I
shooters.
wish I had those skills.
Yeah, I
I'd be
mean,
much
you know,
more
if you
useful
apply
around the
yourself, I'm
house.
sure you can do it. But yeah, this is a really cool miniature. It has a kind of really thematic. He's got a kind of spanner clobber thing there. He's got his slugger. But the thing that he really does is kind of bring with him all of the awesome machines that make all guys so fun to play.
So with no further ado, let's talk about the truck then, which is maybe the star of that show.
This is a really cool
This is the
miniature.
new
It
orc
has
truck.
a
It's
kind
an
of
evolution
Am I-
of this classic
Am I allowed or not?
love, a little bit bigger, a few more
But the thing
options.
that he
and
really
it's
does is kind of
just
bring
wonderful
with
to
him
look at. It
all
comes
of
with a
the
variety of
awesome
options
machines that
in terms
make
of
the
weapon mounts.
guys
You've
so
got
fun to play.
the big
I
shooter.
can hear it. It sounds like a
rocket
fucking
launcher.
wasp.
You have options for a Graviclaw and a Buzzsaw, and all
So
of those can be
annoying.
swapped in positions on the top so that you can build different configurations. Have some great varieties. You'll make
The problem is you need
Yeah,
someone
this
in
is a
there
phenomenally cool
to
miniature.
hear it
Like,
for you
the current
to
truck
notice
is
it.
really cool, right?
Absolutely.
The truck that is in current orc armies is a perfectly good vehicle, but it's been with us for a long time now, right? Like it's been
what, 15 years?
something
more?
like that. Yeah, it's been around for a while. This is a beautiful reinvention of it. The thing that really makes this is
Must
the
be.
fact that you can
I
build
must
the
need drivers for
where
the
pimple mount goes, where the
my
close
Focusrite
combat goes,
audio
how the
interface.
boys are positioned, what the driver looks like,
Even
what
here
goes
on
on
the
the.
screen, you can see the way it looks like it's going around the corner because you can alter the look of the suspension.
Yeah, you can kind of play with where the wheels are, and I think especially
God
if you've
knows
gone for
which
a really
generation
heavy
I'm
sort
on
of
now.
Evil Sons or
First,
Speed Style
second.
army,
Yeah.
and you want to have a bit of variety in your force, this one kit with no changes at all from what comes in the box can be built enough time.
Love how they
you
just
never need
expect you to know.
Yeah, so we've got a couple here on the desk. The one I'm most excited by is the one
think
with
this is the one?
looking skull prow at the front.
Mate, how am I supposed to know which bloody thing it is? I've had it for years.
The orcs is so iconic. Yeah, really fantastic. Now, what we wanted to do, the reason we brought these along, is so I can sandwich this little guy in
Make some
between them
space in the parking
and
lot
just
there.
show you, if you've already got some orc trucks in your collection, how nice they're going to look. Don't want to mangle them all I know, right?
Oh, like the
so
bit
this
rate,
is
you
how it
mean?
looks with the classic truck.
Yeah, I wonder if that's been
It's a really good
changed
look.
for
Yeah,
some
if
reason.
you've
Very
already
happy.
got some trucks in your army, you can absolutely keep them alongside these new ones. I think there's something to be said for an orc army. It's got a bit of a ramshackle look to it. So you could replace them completely, or if you want to have a mix, that's absolutely fine. But I think the new
But it's
ones
only on
are
me
really
speaking, yeah?
great. They've got so many cool options.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to look fun.
Nice. So that's a couple of fantastic brand new kits coming for the orcs. There's more on the way that people might be able to learn about through the progress of the Deathmire.
Yeah, that's right. So there's lots of orc stuff still to come. Some of the stuff we're showing you today, some of it will be revealed potentially if the orcs do well in the Siege of Deathmire campaign that's currently running.
The
So
sample
if you
rate's the
wanna see some
highest
more
it can
orcs,
be anyway.
play some games, send in your results, and you might get to see some more very, very soon. There are a few other boxes to talk about today, though. We've got the other stuff from Armageddon as well.
Yeah, that's right. So essentially, if you wanted to pick up some of the things from Armageddon or duplicate them, we're going to be releasing the Dakar rig separately, the War Track separately, and the Weird Boy separately, and also the other sort of command stuff. Is that the right word for it? Orc?
Sure, why not?
So the Banner Knob, the Big Boss, and the Pain Boy. Will
I don't want to live
so
that
there's a whole bunch of
way.
extra stuff to come.
Audio.
We'll probably talk a bit about the Codex itself.
Is that supposed to be free?
So, obviously,
Oh,
this is the first
frack.
Codex of 11th edition.
I assume it's free,
Herald
'cause that makes more
something
sense,
really
but
exciting in terms of a format
Like frequency,
Warhammer
but
40,000. So
freaker.
here you can see it's
Freak
the
yay
pages
K.
series, and we've got one live in front of you. So it's a perfect bound book, slightly smaller than the codexes in terms of the height, but it is really thick and is packed with an incredible amount of orky content.
178 pages it is.
Perfect.
You mean,
And,
yeah?
the first thing that I would like to
It won't be in there 'cause it's running through
how
a
incredible the lore section.
running through an audio interface, so it'll be on them settings.
Lore section, which is everything you would want to know about the orcs and how they operate. It's got a
Cool.
old map you can see.
You mean you did it when you was a
Awful
teenager
perspective
and you
on
thought
the
you were dead
battles, all the
cool?
places that the orcs are fighting, all the different wars that are taking place. But there's a lot more to it than that. It talks about the orcs, where they come from, how they fight, their culture, the different clan structures. Literally the most complete guide on orcs you could hope for. And
wonder if I
perhaps the most
change
information on
my,
orcs that's ever been in one place. Every unit gets its own full text.
I wonder if I change it to
Information on the glyphs,
NVIDIA Broadcast.
clan icons and things like. It's really great. But also some people might be interested in the rules.
Yeah, so one of the big changes to the rules in this codex versus the previous ones was in the last
Yoink.
edition there was quite a lot of rules in your codex, but quite a lot of them you couldn't use in all the different types of games. So if some of it you could only use in Crusade games, for example, all of the rules
That's
in
where it
this
goes
codex,
up, yeah.
and there are at least as many rules in this one as there were in the last one, you
Yeah.
can use in every type of game. One of the ways that manifests, you'll immediately notice, is the amount of detachments that you get to play with. There are 15 different orc detachments in this codex.
There's loads of ways to use
Loads
your
of different
army,
ways to put your army together, ranging from lots of different sizes in terms of detachment points. It gives you a huge variety of different ways that you can potentially put an army together.
You have to do
Some
about
of these
sound for a
you
sec,
can probably
guys.
guess at the themes. There are like some fast ones, some stompy ones.
Yeah, the
some
Fly
all
Boys
of-
gives itself away. doesn't
Right,
it?
like so there's some ones you could probably guess at, but there'll be loads of brand new ways that you can put together an orc army that's just.
So did I, to be fair, years
It gives
ago.
you a
But
sense of
like I say,
what codex
it's been set up
will
like this
feel
for
like
years. It's never
where they will
changed,
bring
and
this huge variety of
it's been
list
fine
building.
normally. So
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
see
And there's,
what
there's
this
more to it
does.
than just the detachments. Obviously, the rules have been looked at by the Warhammer rules team, and they've come up with some things. This is the army special rule, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, so war, right? You can't have war, you can't have an orc codex without a war.
Give
The
me
war rule has
1
changed a little bit.
second.
So there'll be some things that are familiar. There's some slight changes.
Change
It
that.
still allows you to run and charge.
Did
but
that
now
do
you can
anything?
roll,
No, it
run
didn't.
as well.
So-
It also lets you have assault on all of your weapons, which is a thing it didn't
The
used to do. So
sound
that means that if you've gone for a very shooty army, so like speed freaks, you've got loads of like bikes and bows.
Is the microphone sound any better or
It's
not?
immediately really useful, and it also gives you the riled up ability, which triggers all sorts of things across all the sorts of different bits of the codex, where other units will become more powerful, and you still get that invulnerable save as well to make your.
It's a
orcs-
really great army
It's a
rule, isn't it?
really, really good rule. For one turn of the game, you'll have a great turn every single game.
Yeah, and then all of the units within the codex have had their
Is
data
the
sheets looked at. So
sound
here's the truck that I just
better,
showed you
you
before,
knobheads?
and you can see what's gone on with it. So you can see the different weapon options and things to give you a sense of what it means for your codex, I suppose.
Yeah, so what you'd expect, it still kind of has a similar-ish stat line to what the truck does at the moment. It is a kind of medium-sized.
And can you still hear the
You'll notice
audio
are
from that properly? Because I've got no pass through now, so
combat weapons,
I can see the levels going up and down though, so you can still the audio, but I can't hear it. So now I'm going to try and sort that out.
Something like a fire dragon.
Default device. Let's go to
to kill your truck. you can pile the boys out ready to kind of countercharge or to avoid being caught in the explosion or something like that. It's a really useful little rule that's got some quite neat little tactical plays you can do with it.
Better? No, not better. Gone completely. I didn't do what Steve said, but oh mate, now I've lost the fucking audio. Shit.
You've ever had.
There we go. Oh, you have the
You've
audio.
got
I'll
some
just
classic
do
stuff
my
returning,
audio.
so you've got a burner back in this
Big
unit
fan
now,
of not having a roll to hit.
which is pretty cool. You've got loads of different options for your boss's weapon.
So that
The
sound,
thing
my
I
audio
draw
sounds
attention
alright
to
now,
as
yeah?
well is almost kind of tucked away right at the bottom of that stat line there is the strength of a basic orc boy is now 5, and that is
Such bad news for
that
Space
is
I don't
across
wanna
the
live
codex
that way.
update to your orcs. Every single orc is at least strength 5 all of the time now. So that goes for boys. It also goes for your kind of beast snaggers, and all of the things like your knobs and warpasses and everything get a commensurate increase as well. So your already pretty scary orcs get even scarier all the time in close combat.
Fantastic. I think
It's cars. It's not. It's because I got a Bluetooth headset,
You have a great
and
time. You
it's
sound have a
it's
really
like
good
only
helps
single
with
channel.
the last
The
thing
vid is
we talked
quiet.
about
Yeah, I
with
can
the
say
codex
that. That's
is,
not an issue.
obviously, in the back of it, it includes the code that you will put into your Warhammer 40,000 app to unlock and access the rules. It does something else on top of that. This is kind of like
I
your
don't wanna
passport
live that
to
way.
ongoing content for your Warhammer 40,000 Orc Codex throughout its
Is that
lifespan.
too loud or is that
There will be
alright?
regular drops of lore and rules so that you can continue to get great stuff out of your codex as the time continues. They've given us a sneak peek into some of the stuff that's coming, and it sounds both really cool and really thematic. So I'm quite excited to see what happens with that. And then I imagine all the other
Oh,
codex.
this is well shit.
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. So yeah, the first codex coming down the pipe is Warhammer 40,000 Orcs, and it looks.
So I can't
amazing.
hear nothing now.
Do
It's
stick around.
so
We have more
fucking
Warhammer
annoying.
40,000 for you later in the preview.
Yes,
as
yeah,
well,
we'll be
so do stick
returning
around.
to the
How
40th
do I
Millennium
fucking say?
later on in the show. For now, though, we're going to segue into something which is quite interesting. We've talked a lot about ways to get people who are new to Warhammer started with Warhammer 40,000. So let's talk for a little bit about the Warhammer Academy.
Ah, there we go. Oh, that's still not working.
Mountain. We are in search of enlightenment. Long and difficult has been our journey, and many things are still hidden
didn't
from
win.
us.
Tell me
So,
what you seek.
so
What
annoying.
is the difference between the Black Rage and the Red Thirst?
How do you get decals to lay smoothly on a Space Marine shoulder?
Yeah.
And how exactly do you use command points?
Ah! So you seek to learn the ways of Warhammer.
That do anything? No, get rid of it. Get rid of it too.
Beneath the mountain. What is the
I guess
Warhammer
I just
Academy?
can't.
I'm
Why
so
is it
glad
not
you
working
asked,
on this?
Eddie.
I've not got
Warhammer
the
Academy is a
microphone
really
engaged
exciting
on
thing.
it. So
We've been
why is
working
it
on behind
normally
the
it's
scenes
if you
here at
engage the
Gameplay for a
microphone
while
then you
now,
can't have the
and is
you
the
can't have the
perfect
pass
way
through, but
to answer the question,
obviously there's
how
no
do I get
microphone on,
started
so
with Warhammer? The idea is that people can come to this website, which is free to use, and they can get guided first steps on how to begin exploring Warhammer. So there's going to be at launch like well over 100 videos, which are all video lessons
I
that
don't
deal
wanna
with
live
the lore and
that way.
collecting, with painting and modeling, and with gaming
Are
to
they
get you on your
trying
first
to
steps.
make
I'm
it
out of breath. I
how
had to
to
throw this
Couldn't
costume
tell
on.
you, mate. It's
To
got
get
to
you
get everything
started on
saying.
your sort of first steps through Warhammer. When the website launches, it will focus on Warhammer 40,000 to coincide alongside all of these new starter products, so that people can like experience Warhammer for the first time and go through sort of learning all about the universe and what the factions and the armies are, and really going on that same journey that we've all been when we've been able to sit down with somebody and who's told us all about what Warhammer is. And then the paintings, people put together these amazing videos that start really basic and then go all the way through to some really great techniques that will have your army looking fantastic. And then the gaming side takes it from the assumption you've never played a game of Warhammer before and takes you all the way
There
through
we go,
playing
done
your
it.
first games of Combat
Sweet.
Patrol, which we played and had a lot of fun with. And so you should be able to have a wonderful experience. If you are completely new to Warhammer, or there's somebody
done.
in your life that wants to get started, this is a wonderful thing to
Undercut
point them
Vanguard
towards when we launch it.
tactics.
And
Can't be hard to
they'll
undercut
be able
them.
to take their
What
first
was it,
steps.
8
If you want to
million
sharpen
quid
your
for
own
a
skills,
lesson.
we talk about, as we've been working on the Academy, the idea that you can build your skills, your confidence, and your experience to get the most out of this wonderful Warhammer hobby that we all enjoy. And so the whole purpose of this Academy, which is free to use, is to just get on board and sharpen those skills and your confidence and have a great time.
Sounds
And
wonderful.
well, when something good
Nice.
comes up.
And the releases alongside those Warhammer 40,000 starter sets that we talked about previously. So not long now, a month or so, and then you'll be able to see Warhammer Academy for yourself.
Sounds great.
Perfect. I'm really
Hammer
excited.
Academy.
Right. Now I'm going to get out of this costume, and while we do, let's travel to the old world.
Oh, old world. More cafe, come on. More cafe for my back army, please. Come on, show me more. All new Warriors of Chaos. They're cool, to be fair. Oh, they're sick, mate. This is just an
Welcome
army
back.
box.
I've returned to normal, and we are now thrilled by some news for Warhammer the Old World. That was a great looking box of miniatures. There's a lot to talk about. We've got some of the
That
models here to
dragon
get
is
close-ups
well
on
good.
in a little while. For now, let's dive into that new 2-player box for Warhammer the Old World. This features
Just the same
two
ones I've already
armies going
got.
head to head. You have the army of Grand Cathay going up against the Chaos Warriors. So within it, you will see in a moment the Cathay force. This is Grand Cathay. They're fairly recent addition
Yeah, they're
to
quite new
Warhammer the
miniatures,
Old
aren't
World.
they, these ones?
And this is
No,
an army
they're
you'll have already
not.
seen before. So you've got the Jade Warriors,
New
you've got the Jade
man.
Lancers,
So old
units
now.
you'll be familiar with. And they're taking a big part in the sort of ongoing struggles in the Old World at the moment. They've dispatched an enormous force to aid against the Chaos invasion that's taking place. It's a beautiful army. You've seen it before. The showstopper for this new box is the wonderful new range of all plastic Warriors of Chaos, which
They
you'll
are
find in
smart.
the other half of this box set. So here you can see the Chaos Warriors themselves.
Yeah, this is an amazing update to your Warhammer Old World Warriors of Chaos.
horrible
Warriors
bases,
of Chaos, of
yeah.
course, one of the archetypal villains, one of the archetypal visuals, really, of Warhammer, the Old World. This is a really cool army. All the bits in this are multi-part, and these are all brand new plastic miniatures.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Chaos Warriors are kind of the mainstay of the Warriors of Chaos army.
Show me the dragon. Come on.
These are elite heavy infantry in the best armor that you can get in Warhammer the Old World, and they stride forward in ranks of hard to kill warriors, and they will deal punishment when they get there. Of course, they are but part of this new force. The other part, and perhaps the most iconic of the Warriors of Chaos units, are the Chaos Knights. These are super elite heavy cavalry. Inside this new box, you get 4 Chaos Knights. It's a classic.
Yeah,
size
it
if
should
you
be
remember
sorted
days
now,
of yore.
dude.
Going back in time a long way now, when Chaos Knights used to often feature in units of 4. So you have what you'd expect: a champion, a musician, a
That's
standard
cool.
bearer, and then an additional knight. They can be swapped out with the lances that you see here in the picture.
Chaos
And you
Knights.
can add
Big
into the
unit.
unit, obviously, and
Yeah,
make it
absolutely.
bigger.
You
Are
get
they
4
better
box,
than the,
you'll be able to get more as time goes on.
AOS
so if you want
ones?
to build bigger units of
Oh,
Chaos
there's
Knights,
a
you
lot
certainly
of
will be able to. Chaos Knights are some of the
marauders on
hardest
horses,
hitting
isn't
and
they?
most dangerous cavalry units in all of Warhammer.
They're also just like almost the archetypal heavy cavalry, right? Like
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you build an army for Warhammer the Old World, you're like, well, I can take a charge, but could I take a charge from Chaos Knights?
Probably
it's like
not.
the absolute pinnacle of the hardest hitting unit. So lots of
They're the
people
same in
very
AOS
keen
as
to
well,
include
those
this unit in their
fucking
army
little-
if you've got a Chaos Force. So almost never see a Chaos army without a
The
unit. of
third
Chaos Knights.
edition,
They're
they were
so
just disgusting.
effective.
It was
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. And then the force is led by some champions of chaos. You have one on foot and one on horse. This one here you can see is modelled as a battle standard bearer. The kit contains enough options that you can swap around the things. So in a moment, as we see the screen progress, you'll see some of the things you can do. It also has a chaos champion on a demonic mount. This is my favourite model in the set. It is beautiful and is a really iconic image of a
I think
chaos
it looks like
Painted well
artwork
boring though,
of
isn't it? It's
Chaos
all
Warriors from some of
silver.
those old
I
Warhammer
agree.
Fantasy
There's literally
army
nothing on
books.
it. It's so
And
bland.
the miniatures have finally got to the point where they can capture like the thing that you sort of imagined that Chaos Warriors you wanted them to look like all those years ago. It's just such a cool kit. I love the Standard Bearer as well. I think this champion kit is one of the best sort of hero kits that Warhammer has yet released.
Yeah, I don't have a Chaos Army for Warhammer. I never have, but I would really like to get my hands on that model. I think it just works beautifully. So let's talk for a little bit about that box. It's a 2-player core box for Warhammer the Old World. It's essentially what you need to start playing Warhammer the Old World if you haven't before. It's an enormous box. It contains the armies. It also contains the rulebook and a muster list. The rulebook
for
is
the
the
low price of £1,000.
Warhammer the Old World. So if you're sat there worrying that this is going to change the rules that you're playing with, it won't. The difference really with this rulebook and the rulebook you already have, if you're already playing the Old World, is that the erratas and things that exist online are woven.
Square bases are gross max. They make me ill.
Just this book, you don't need to worry about any other documents.
Exactly.
It's a proper big pet of mine, square bases.
It has an additional section called Battle March.
They make me have like a little bit of a throw up.
I saw another miniature.
Just a little dry heave.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the muster list before we go. Muster list is the rules for the models that are in the box. There you go. This is how to play Warhammer all in one handy box, and is very exciting and continues the thing that we know and love. Now,
let's talk dragons, Adam.
Yeah, let's talk dragons.
Yes,
We're all very
let's talk
excited.
dragons.
This might be my favourite thing in the entire preview. It is such a show-stopping model. This is the Warriors of Chaos Lord on Chaos Dragon, and there's so much to talk about. Eddie?
You just get the sense of the size of it just from that shot where it was already taller than the 3-story building behind it. It is an absolutely enormous, phenomenally cool miniature for Warhammer the Old World. I think probably the biggest monster we've had released yet.
It's got to be right up there, and there have been some fantastic kits since Warhammer the Old World launched. There's things to talk about. First, I want to just wax lyrical on how cool Chaos Dragons are. We've seen this image before of Chaos Dragons with 2 heads. There used to be a special
Marky Mark, or your Beast of Chaos,
the Chaos Dragon, which was the kind of one that had eaten the Lord of Change.
Oh, look at that, though,
before that,
dude.
you had Von Horstmann,
That's right,
who was the kind of former College of Magic in the Empire character, who was on a 2-headed Tzeentchian dragon. But that's a long time ago. We've never had a plastic version of it. A plastic 2-headed Chaos Dragon has been a long time coming. And I think even though we've waited decades for it, this is worth the wait.
Shame they went to really cool. Really.
It's also what we sometimes call a 2 for kit, in that you can make a different option with it. So you've seen the Chaos Lord. This is a
means Mark doesn't have a Chaos Army, though.
And
so
there's some differences. The first is the Rider, obviously. He's now a hunched and wizened Chaos Sorcerer, which is a powerful unit. He can get up to a level 4 wizard. He's not bad in a fight. He's backed up by a 2-headed Chaos Dragon.
I don't know, you had Empires on,
everything
dude.
you would
you're not going to kill him with a light cavalry unit.
No, absolutely not. Additionally, there's some slight differences with the dragon itself. You'll notice that this one has sort of different frills and things. So if you wanted 2 dragons, you could have different.
Yeah, I love that dragon. That is so cool.
And then with a little bit of sort of paint magic, what you've got is 2 very striking, different-looking Chaos Dragons in your army.
I like the wings.
Very exciting centerpiece model. The images that the video team have put together here capture its majesty. It's possibly even better in the flesh, and we have it on the desk here, so you can see it looming over some of these new Chaos Warrior models.
Yeah, one of the things we haven't mentioned as well is just next to the Chaos Dragon, just below
the,
here,
prize.
whichever one you don't build. So if you build the Chaos Lord
dragon.
on the dragon, you get a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on foot, and if you build the Sorcerer Lord on the dragon, you get a Chaos Lord on foot. So whatever way you build this, you get.
I love when they do
very
that.
powerful
so this is
hero
the Sorcerer Lord that you would get if you build it with the Chaos Lord, and then this is the Chaos Lord on foot if you built it with the Sorcerer. So, oh crikey, always worried I'm going to destroy a heavy metal model live on video. Really a great kit. You can see all the other things in front of us.
Just the size
as well.
of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, these are big models, right? The Chaos Knights are not small cavalry models, and this is about 4 times the height of them. So it's a big old beast, and also just phenomenally good in the game as well, right? Like a Chaos Lord on a 2-headed Chaos Dragon is up there with the very best unit in all of Warhammer the Old World. There's almost nothing that can go toe to toe.
I just want to, before we move on from,
I mean, maybe. I don't think it's quite that
have a
big.
look at the back of the Chaos Champion on horse. You can see all of this amazing extra detail. He's got like fur under his saddle. He's got like heads hanging from chains. Like the detail on these models is just wild.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's worth calling out actually about these Chaos Warriors particularly is that these are Chaos Warriors designed for Warhammer the Old World, so they're meant to look like the logical extension of the kind of Marauder archetype.
They're very much sort of chaos armored barbarians from the north.
There's still a little bit of that kind of like barbarian raider vibe to them. They've got the look of someone who's kind of walked out of the Arctic North of the Warhammer world. So that they're
about to
and people are wandering around the
Absolutely,
Arctic
yeah.
North in full plate.
Obviously,
fucking
alongside
crazy.
the new core box, people might want to get their hands on some other things that would be useful. So here you can see common magic items and laws of magic. These are cards which enable you to do quick reference as you're playing your games and can be very useful. They're not required, obviously. The rules for these things exist inside the book. There's also another thing that we said we would talk about a little bit. This is Battle March, the General's Companion.
Hey Mark, you were
Battle
hoping
March
for
is a new way to play games
Ogre's
of Warhammer the
announcement.
Old World. The way this works is that you build smaller forces, not unlike Spearhead or Combat Patrol, between 400 and 700 points, and then you unleash them in games that are quicker to play and more straightforward. There's some rules in this companion which detail how you make your force. So there's some limitations on what you can and can't take, and some requirements, and then there's different scenarios to play. The rules for Battle March are in the new rulebook, and there's those rules and more information and more scenarios and ways to play are found inside this Battle March General's Companion. So whichever one you want to take as your option in, you can start playing, I don't know, like lunchtime leagues, or maybe like a campaign across a weekend of like quick turnaround games.
Or if you've just started an army for the first time and you maybe haven't got enough to play a full-size game, you can still play with a smaller force.
Yes. Now, to help you with that, they're releasing the first of our Battle March armies. So this is the Warriors of Chaos and Grand Cathay Battle March armies, and they contain a variety of units deliberately designed to give you a good Battle March experience. And you could totally add these to the new box, and then you have nice big armies if you want to.
Yeah, we were talking about if you add either of these boxes onto
what would you want?
The new sets coming out,
like what type of unit do you want?
Grand Cathay, and then you add something like a monster like a two-headed dragon,
or a Cathayan dragon,
or a Cathayan dragon. You've pretty much got an army ready to go. These are really lovely places to start a force, or just a really good way to bolt on loads of troops onto an army.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also more coming for the Old World. This is the Arcane Journal, The March of Chaos. This continues the narrative that we're seeing unfold in the Old World at the moment. The Chainbreaker, this Chaos Lord, is descending from the north with an enormous throng. They're ploughing through the northern provinces of the Empire. Even the forces of Grand Cathay have been called in, volunteered themselves to come in and try and stave off this invasion, and it's a grim affair. Magic is being applied around everywhere. So that card deck is for magic ploys, which the winds of magic are blowing so furiously that there's loads of different magic escapades and things to get on with.
Yeah, you got Crocs.
It's a really good time to be playing.
So, I mean, maybe update the Saurus card.
I'm enjoying the
Skinks
narrative
don't need updating,
as well, about all these different invasions leading up to a big war. Some would say a great war.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I like that. That was a good deep cut if you know your Warhammer history. So, slight segue. It's not quite the Old World, but it's very similar. Let's talk about Blood Bowl for a minute. Blood Bowl is the game of fantasy football, and there is some really exciting things to show with the release of the new Spike Journal. This is Spike Journal 22. Blood Bowl 7 is the theme. What's Blood Bowl 7s? I hear you ask. Well, I'm glad you did.
Adam?
There you go. Perfect. Blood Bowl 7s is essentially a way of playing Blood Bowl which is akin to like rugby sevens or five-a-side football. So you're compacting your team, you're playing faster games on a smaller pitch. It's very frenetic. It really changes quite a lot of the tactics and the ways that you would play, and makes for a entirely different and very fun experience. You get 4 of your positions in this game, so you've got quite a lot of skills and things on the tabletop, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm excited for this, but I'm even more excited for what we're about to show you, which is some fantastic new Blood Bowl miniatures. The first of which is a new big one available for several teams. This is the Rat Ogre.
I love this model. I think the thing that I most love about it is if you look on his shoulder, he has a little rat with a piece of cheese and a flag on his tail.
That is beautiful, but is it better or as good as a rat wearing a gas mask and carrying a lump of warpstone?
It's very close, and I think you'll have to make that decision for yourself when you get hold of your own Rat Ogre. I think the cheese takes
build your Rat Ogre without either of those rats, but boo.
I mean, you could if you wanted to not have a rat on his shoulder. Yes, you could do without.
The funny thing is,
does anyone want that?
This is also a great model, but if you're not taking one of the rats, I think you've got mad.
One
this is
would
available
look
for a
good
number
just
of
throwing
teams.
into your
Obviously,
Rat
you can
Ogres.
use it in the Skaven team, but also the Underworld Denizens and the Chaos Renegade teams. If you want some real muscle to go in there and just clobber the enemy, break the enemy line, so that your team can run through.
You've got some mutation options in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of big uns, there's another one on the way. This is a Minotaur.
Or Minotaur.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be cool, man.
Another one of those.
Or even just have one that's a champion.
Blood Bowl units, and it's again available for a variety of Blood Bowl teams. You can use it in the Chaos Chosen. You can use it in the Chaos Dwarf list. You can use it in the Chaos Renegade teams.
Pick up one of the magazines to get in the 3 Rat Ogres,
just
just
to
throw
fit
ones
more
inside.
in with the teams that you're used to using.
Yeah, so this one here on the screen at the moment, rather than hands or even hooves, has got kind of scorpion claws.
Why catch the ball, right?
Yeah, he's not going to do much catching, but he might do even better clobbering than a regular Minotaur.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, those are wonderful. The thing I'm most excited about not just for this Blood Bowl reveal, but maybe in all of Blood Bowl, is our next reveal.
He is your favourite, Adam.
Morgenthau is my favourite thing about Blood Bowl. I absolutely love him. He's been an iconic character from right from the start.
Cool.
There is a new multi-part plastic Morgenthau model coming, and he is wonderful. The kit enables you to make him in one of 3 very iconic designs. Here you can see the Reichland Reavers one, which really sort of connects to that iconic artwork that we're used to seeing with Morg. Here is another version. This is him in his gouged eye.
Doesn't mean you can't model it as a
team,
champion.
and you can see
Doesn't have an extra dice, does
charms
it?
and things around his neck. This is for the Chaos All-Stars when he played with that team. That was his first ever team. You see, he's still got hair.
You can see he's also got each of the Chaos Gods icons on his little chain around his neck as well, which is really cool.
Absolutely love it. If you are unfamiliar with Blood Bowl or Morg in particular, let me just tell you, he is genuinely one of the
Adam,
best
can you take him in a halfling team?
You can, and I have used him to lead my halflings to almost glory a number of times. I love him. He's so good. He hits like a freight train. He's really heavily armored. He's got great skills, mighty blow, loads of armor, everything.
I've never played Blood Bowl.
And he costs a load of points. So halflings are really cheap. So
can he throw
halflings?
halflings?
He can throw a halfling. In fact, my halfling, my favourite halfling, Captain Colin Head, scored many a touchdown and nearly died as he would be lobbed down the pitch. I could talk about Morg for far too long. He's coming soon. I'm very excited. Please let me have one. Let's look at the models. Okay.
I gave you all the Morgs.
There we go. These are the beautiful heavy metal painted Morg models, and here you can see what they look like. So going sort of from this side onwards, this is
No,
Morg.
the
He's
Minotaurs
building that
look
sort of
best, I
gouged
think.
eye look, and you see his armor looks like the sort of armor that Black Hawks wear.
Yeah, so you get different armor, different head, different chest plates. You've got a bunch of different options.
Yeah, and then this is Morg with the Reichland Reavers uniform, and then
From I think the first edition Blood Bowl.
oh yeah,
or was it
a
second?
number of them really. I think he's appeared on a couple of covers, and then if you wanted to do him as Chaos All Stars, you'd use this one. But ultimately, build your Morg how you want, and just go and clobber the enemy and score some touchdowns.
There you go.
We have the other models on the table as well. You can see the Minotaur, a Rat Ogre, and then another Minotaur. These are all whole
turn him so you
models.
get
They
a really good
tower
shot
above
of
the
that.
average lineman.
Right with the
It does look
There
cool.
you go.
That
That's
was
the real star.
That's he's the star, yeah.
Perfect. So there we go. A good time for Blood Bowl. 3 amazing new big characters coming your way. A new way to play Blood Bowl in the new Spike Journal. I'm very excited about this. And we are nowhere near done with this preview.
Let's keep going.
Right. Why don't we go to the Age of Darkness?
Ah, come on. He even said age. He was actually taking the piss now. They look like, remember the 90s X-Men cartoon? Like Professor X was in his floating yellow wheelchair. That's what they all look like. Custodians. I'm here, East.
Welcome back. We have really excited to talk now about the Adeptus Custodes or Legio Custodes.
Well,
Which one is it, Eddie?
It's both, Adam, because
Perfect.
the new box set that's on its way is a reinforcement set for
You'll
the
be painting like
Custodes,
this soon,
and you can
Sonny.
use it for either Warhammer the Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40,000. And just in case you didn't believe us, we put the logos on the box.
It couldn't
so
be clearer,
there's
could it?
no confusion. You can absolutely use this for either game system. There are 6 models in this box, which doesn't sound like a lot, but
Until
when
you realise how big they
until
are.
you look at the
Because
models,
it's
which are
not.
huge and awesome. So let's start with the fastest unit in that box.
Yeah, these are the Gerfalcon jet bikes, an iconic unit from the Legio Custodes force. They are
Oh, I hope
fast-moving, hard-hitting, heavily armed and armoured units, which are designed to storm in and break the back of enemy forces. Each custodian
This is where we convinced Tommy
like,
to
to
get an
the teeth.
AOS army.
There's loads of things to talk about here. The first thing
Stop
would be to
listening to
mention
Steve.
that there's different
Think that's
guns that
full
come
army.
on these models. Essentially, you have a choice of the Adrathic Devastator Arachnus Volley Gun, Twin Corvée Pulse Laser. That's the over and under one. You can see
X-Men
it looks a bit like an
wheelchairs,
over
just
and
paint
under
it
shotgun.
red.
And then you also have the Lastrum Bolt Cannon. So loads of different weapons to do loads of different jobs.
Yeah. So
Go on.
one of the things in a Custodes army, obviously, is you haven't got a lot of units because they tend to cost a lot of points. So you might find that you've got a couple of things that your army's not very good at killing. And one of the things that units like this can do with loads of different
The right
options is
tune
go,
that
actually,
goes
I
off
really
at
need some
us.
help to kill monsters or infantry or something. So you can kit these out with almost a gun for almost any occasion, right?
Absolutely.
You can have different guns across
Max,
the
if he
unit,
still
or
is
you
too
can actually
young
go,
to
I just
even
want them
know
all to be really
that
good at killing
cartoon.
vehicles, give them the best thing for killing the
This
specific
is
vehicle. I think
basically
that I'm
still a
weakest at.
sperm.
Yeah, all of them also have a Solarite Power Lance, which is a formidable power weapon,
It is
especially on the charge.
enormous. The Solarite Lance, it's about 3 times the length of a Space Marine.
Yeah,
I
it's
reckon you could
huge.
kebab about 5 Chaos Space Marines on that thing.
Yeah,
They look
absolutely.
shit.
So
I'm not
there's
gonna lie,
4
they
of
look
these
so
inside the
shit.
set, which is a brilliant unit to go spearheading around the battlefield.
He was
and
looking that going,
bring
do you
pain
know
to the
what?
enemy.
That's
It's not the
army
only
I
thing that
want.
moves fast in this box. We also have the Pallas Gravatac.
The Palace Gravatac is a fast-moving skimmer for the
racer.
Custodes. You can kit it out with either anti-infantry or anti-vehicle stuff. It works a little bit like a land speed is probably the way to think
Open
about
that
it,
hatch
and
and
it's
then out
very
comes
useful for
Sebulba.
Custodes because you tend to have a lot of very expensive models, so you don't have very many small units. So this can zip around the battlefield, taking objectives, getting the enemy where they're hiding in a way that your infantry are very good at holding ground, but not very good at kind of chasing stuff down.
Yeah, and this is another one of those units you can use to sort of cater for where you think you might need additional strength. Has 2 weapons to choose from: the twin Arachnus Blaze Cannon or the twin Iliastus Accelerator Fusil. Say those in a hurry, so you can tailor your Pallas to deal with particular threats.
But I think the showstopper of this box is undoubtedly the Telemon
cool.
Dreadnought. This is a brand new multi-part plastic kit, a reinvention of the resin version, the already very nice resin version of the Telemon
It is a
Dreadnought.
Star Wars
but in
prequel
glorious
dream.
multi-part
How you
plastic, keeping
do?
all the posability with
Just
even
looking at
more
all the
detail,
rubbish so we
even
can get to
more weapon
AOS.
options.
Yeah, speaking of weapon options, I'll walk you through them. Between its shoulder blades, you
That
can
is a
see
good
the
model. The last few
Spiculus
models have been
missile
shite.
launcher. But there are other weapon options too. Here you can see the Iliastus Accelerator Culverin, the Adrathic Devastator, and the Arachnus Storm Cannon. On his other hand, so you can build those as you will, choose the one that suits your loadout. On the other hand, you have the Kestus, that's essentially fancy Legion
getting
Custodes terms for
cancelled.
Power Fist with twin Neutronium Cascade Projector. So it's a bit like a flamethrower, but with neutroniums.
Absolutely. Neutronium's more deadly than flame, apparently.
Gotta
So
be,
there you go.
right?
One of those guns is, of course, new. The one that's currently equipped. The name escapes me. Sorry.
Oh, I think you are talking about the Iliastus Accelerator Culverin.
Exactly that one.
Pew, pew,
and this
baby.
is a really beautiful kit, right? So you could paint this up very quickly if you wanted to, like a gold spray, and then a wash would make it look beautiful. But equally, if you wanted to take your time over all the detail of this, it is absolutely dripping in detail, more detail even than was on some of those resin versions of this when it came out. We have one on the table, and we brought along some other dreadnoughts so you could sort of see how it scales up.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. This Telemon Dreadnought is ever so slightly larger than the resin one. So we brought a Leviathan Dreadnought.
Do you remember when you saw a Leviathan for the first time and thought, you're never going to be cooler than that?
Nothing could ever be cooler than a
absolutely.
Leviathan Dreadnought. And he's still pretty cool. I like Leviathans
absolutely.
a lot. But the Telemon Dreadnought stands a good head above the even the Leviathan.
And with last summer's release,
like
lots of people
fat
may
Iron
have
Man.
got their hands on a Saturnine Dreadnought. And here you can see there's some similarity between these two in terms of the shape of the shoulder pads and things. The Telemon is a little taller. The Saturnine is a little bit broader.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one definitely is got more mass to it. Like the weight of it looks heavy, but the Telemon stands ever so slightly taller, which might just mean that the Custodes didn't want to kind of ever look up at a space marine. I think that's probably the point, isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I like it. So all of these models that we've talked about, so the Gerfalcon jet bikes, the Pallas Gravatac, and the Telemon Dreadnought will be available in plastic for the first time as part of this box set.
What are you hoping for, Stu?
Separately later down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can use them, definitely use them for both Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Horus.
You absolutely can. One of the new detachments for the Custodes in Warhammer 40,000 has some specific upgrades for Telemon Dreadnoughts as well.
Well,
Great,
iron
nice.
off.
So, that's not
Long
everything
time,
for
dude.
the Age of Darkness. We also have a new
How are you,
General
mate?
Tactica on the way. This is General Tactica Prospero Burns, The Judgment of Valdor, and this deals with the actions of Constantine Valdor and the Legio Custodes during the
fucking
burning of
ages,
Prospero
mate.
when they joined forces with the Space Wolves to bring judgment to Magnus and his errant sons.
Yeah, we know quite a lot about the burning of Prospero. We've seen it from the Thousand Suns perspective. We've seen it from the Space Wolves perspective. We know that the Custodes were there, but we haven't really heard much about what the Custodes were up to. And this explores that. You kind of find out what they were doing while the two legions were taking chunks out of each other. One of the things that's quite cool about it is that the
Still
Custodes
learning
are
much from
on one side. On the
Demon
other
and
side,
Wazam and that.
there are some Thousand Suns, but the main antagonist really for them is a
Oh,
demonic.
nice, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. For the first time,
Do all right, do
this
well, innit?
presents for this edition a full army list for the Demons of Siege, including new psychic disciplines. So you can start using the warp denizens of the
Sick, man.
patron who is presiding over the ruin of the Thousand Suns.
Which
Or
course was it
Salvation.
in the
No,
end?
absolutely not.
Maybe
They had
probably
it coming.
ruined. It is
They got what they
probably
deserved.
ruined,
There's even more stuff in there than we've talked about here. There's some new rules for the Solar Auxilia. There's a whole bunch of stuff. This is a packed Journal Tactica, which really shines a light on an area of the Horus Heresy we've not looked at before. So it's quite
Yeah,
exciting.
and that's the best kind of Horus Heresy games. Ones
Remember
where
when
you
we
go
talked
back to
about
those
you had
iconic
different
moments in the
course
lore
options
and
to what we
refighting
have?
it. Like, what if it was a little bit different? What if you had a slightly different mix? What if the tactics were different?
Yeah, absolutely.
Recreating those amazing stories is what it's all about.
So, sticking with the Age of Darkness, but going a bit smaller as we look at some Legions Imperialis.
Or possibly bigger.
But yes, bigger and smaller at the same time. We have 3 models we're going to talk about now.
Just a flat
These
size
are
one, yeah.
models for the Titan Legions. This is the Warlord Battle Titan with Quake Cannon and Conversion Beam Extirpator.
Yeah, remember they didn't
Extirpate means to
do
destroy
biological
utterly.
sciences the way you
And that is
wanted
what the
them.
weapon loadout on this Warlord Titan will do. As you see this video playing before you, you can see what all the different weapons are. There's a whole bunch, and they
Congratulations,
have
mate.
really
Anyway,
long and
that's
difficult to say
made it
live
for
on
you.
air names, such as
But
the
you should still
Conversion
try,
Beam
I think.
Extirpator. So this is a kit which will come packaged all together. So you get the Warlord Titan and all of these weapons. It includes some extra bits and pieces. So there's some guns to go on the turrets. You've got Gatling blasters and turbo laser destructors. You have 2 Warlord heads
They all look the
inside
same,
the kit,
don't they,
and
these
it also
fucking
contains all the
little
cards you would need to use this if you were playing.
That looks
Adeptus
exactly
Titanicus.
like
Nice.
every
If
other
you
one I've
just want the
seen.
weapons, they'll be available separately. You just won't get all the cards with it and stuff like that. Cool. This is one of 3 things we're going to talk about. The next one is the Warlord Battle Titan with Volkite Destructor and Macro Gatling Blaster. Again, not a thing to say too quickly on a Friday night. Here is another towering god engine of the Titan Legions. It has a whole bunch of different weapons, which you can see playing out on your screen. They include the Graviton Ruinator, which you can see here. It's the biggest Graviton.
Did it
I've
just
ever
mean, or does that
seen.
look exactly like
Volkite
the
Destructor,
same
Macro
as the
Gatling
last
Blaster,
one
and
you
the
showed
Vulcan
us?
Megabolter Array, which sits on its shoulders. It also includes the Warlord Titan heads and those cards I mentioned before if you wanted to play Adeptus Titanicus.
But Adam, what if I had a slightly smaller Titan but still wanted loads of massive guns?
And complicated names, then you are going to be fine, because this is the Titan Legions Reaver Titan with Graviton Obliterator and Volkite Annihilator. A mid-sized Titan that packs an incredible punch with weapons such as the aforementioned Graviton Obliterator, the Volkite Annihilator. It also has a Vulcan Megabolter option for its carapace, and you just saw it there. My favourite, possibly, of all the names that we've had this evening, which
Mate,
is
that
the
looks like
Conversion Beam
Johnny
Dissolute.
5.
Those are some cool guns and some great verbs.
Yeah, it also
That's
has
Johnny
a big
5,
on the
isn't it?
cards you would need to play in Adeptus Titanicus. And you can get the weapon separately should you desire no more Titans. What's wrong with you?
Those are
My favourite, possibly, of all the names.
Watch
we've had
this guy.
evening,
Johnny
which is
5,
the
that?
Conversion Beam. And you just saw it there. My favourite, possibly, of all the
100% Johnny 5.
names that we've had this evening.
Space Marine 2. That looked cool.
That looks a bit
like a
good, Eddie.
program.
What can you tell us about Butcher's Nails?
Yeah, this is a new animation coming to Warhammer TV for Warhammer Plus subscribers. It is a one-off standalone episode, so it's a Hammer and Bolter episode of Warhammer
Nice.
40,000. And effectively, it tells the story of a Khorne Berserker who is part of a chaos assault on an Imperial stronghold. As you would imagine for a World Eater story, it is incredibly violent. It is by some margin the bloodiest and most violent piece of Warhammer animation we have yet featured on Warhammer TV. And it is pretty much non-stop carnage from the moment that the shots open to the
I'd
final.
watch that.
Fantastic. Here you can see a shot that we saw, something like this in the trailer. This looks like the head-up display inside the helmet of the World Eater.
Yeah, so not all of it, but some of the animation is shown from the literal perspective of the World Eater, who is obviously
Looks
a
like a
little bit
first-person
unhinged.
shooter.
The Butcher's nails are starting to bite. If he doesn't get
literally
continuous
saw his
kills and
face
carnage, he
moving
starts to go kind
to
of
the
slowly
whatever.
insane. And he basically is chopping his way through as many enemies as he can find, partly to try and achieve victory, but mostly just to try and make the whining of the nails cease even for the briefest of moments.
Fantastic. And we got a sense of who is fighting, but what's the battle between?
I mean,
who are
he
the protagonists?
almost really, he doesn't really mind what the battle is,
anybody's
really. Khorne doesn't care as long as the blood flows. There are definitely some Astra Militarum, there's some guardsmen, some unfortunate guardsmen who have to stand up against the Khorne Berserker.
Space Marines of the Imperial
There are
Fist,
some Space Marines of the Imperial Fist. There's some other Chaos Space Marines in the mix
who I'm sure
as well.
don't get in the way
They'll
at
get
all.
on fine, I'm sure.
Lovely.
You know, it's not like they're known for betrayal or anything. It's all good. But
Fantastic.
yes, it's going to be a non-stop
Come
Action
on.
Carnage Fest.
I
It's
just
a
want
really
to
fun
see the
animation.
AOS
Perfect.
stuff.
And coming out fairly soon.
It comes out in August.
Awesome. That's very exciting. So, from the Butcher's Nails and Warhammer Plus, let's go to the Mortal Realms for something more.
Let's go.
Opens. Hungering predator. Sun Eater.
Oh, mate, they look sick.
God.
They're mounts.
I see
Oh,
his
mate.
will in the meat, in the marrow, in the blood. He is the hunger that endures through winter and war.
Oh, sick.
He calls us to feast,
More pop.
to swallow the realms. Eat. Eat.
He's got a bit of a shit face.
First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em.
I've got the more the cleavers and the butchers. Not
His
as much as
champion comes.
oh, here we go.
That was very exciting.
Oh,
to
is that all you're gonna
such a
see?
large amount of models coming soon to the Mortal Realms with these new Ogre tribes. Eddie, where do we
It's not a
start?
large amount.
I am super excited about this release. This is an enormous range refresh for the Ogre tribes. There's so much to talk about. I think let's start
Thought it
with
was
the
way more than
army
that.
set, which is coming out. This is the first place you'll get a chance to get your hands on some of the new miniatures. This is an enormous army launch set, a little bit like what we've seen
They're
with some of
mounted
the armies
ones, look
recently.
so
Like,
fucking
Exactly like the
cool.
Hellsmith, same sort of concept. You get a cool version of the Battle Tome and the first chance to get hold of a bunch of the miniatures. Let's have a quick chat about some of the stuff in this set.
Sure. So first out the gates would be sort of the mainstay unit for the Ogre tribes. These are the Gluttons, the sort of replacement or refresh of what in old days you might have called Ogre Bulls. And boy, do they look good.
Yeah, the Ogre Bulls are still really cool models, like,
Yeah,
but they
absolutely.
are they've been around for a while now. They're more than 20 years
You
old.
shocked
I like
me
that.
I'm
when
sorry
I realised
about
how
that,
old I
Adam.
was. Yeah.
So they are well and truly deserving of a refresh. This is a really cool update for them. They still keep the kind of general aesthetic of the Ogre Bulls, but they're much more dynamic. They're a little bit bigger. The armor plates are much more impressive.
I really like the shape of the helmets. They look like they're designed to deflect sort of downward
Yeah,
blows.
and
or
if
I
you
like the
remember, like
helmets, they're cool.
the first time those models came out, they were designed for Warhammer Fantasy, where they'd have to rank up. So actually, the poses were quite sort of
Yeah,
limiting on a
they're
lot of
very
the
dynamic
miniatures.
here, aren't they?
These are much like cooler, more impressive poses. Even things like having those arms out, they just look really great. The detail on them is obviously 20 years on from the last time we saw the Ogre Bulls. So these are really, really cool miniatures. You get 10 of these in
Yeah,
that
I like
launch
them.
box.
They're
This is
smart.
only the most basic of the Ogre tribes units.
Fantastic.
Let's move on to, I think, might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, so mine too. I
They
think
are
the Iron Guts have always looked
awesome.
really cool, and these are even cooler if possible. The Iron Guts are an elite ogre unit. They carry enormous weapons, and they wear more armor. So you can see those armor plates on the arms going all the way up to the shoulders. Their helmets are a little bit fancier, and they've got these massive two-handed weapons.
They look like they mean
That's
absolute
sick.
business,
Yeah,
right?
no
Like
kidding.
the size of those weapons, and again, much more dynamic, but those blades are about twice the size of a mortal human, right? So they are going to make an absolute mess. They
I don't
already
even
are
know
an
which one
excellent
of them
unit in
out of three I
Warhammer
like
Age of
more. They're
Sigmar.
all so cool.
They're still
Might
an
be
excellent
the
unit, and now the
Warhammer
miniatures are
ones.
even better as well.
That
Yeah,
one's
absolutely.
smart
To
as
keep
well,
this
man.
rabble in line, you need an Ogre Tyrant. So this model is a multi-part kit. He enables you to build him in a couple of ways. Essentially, a really powerful, heavy-hitting ogre character. Here you can see a couple of the options. I love this one with the fur cloak. It sort of fits into the
nice one.
more sort of huntery style thing you can do with an ogre army, where you want to focus more on the beast if you want to, or you can go full gutbuster with this one, whichever you prefer, really.
Yeah, if you've got the kind of Beastclaw Raider
Yeah,
vibe.
absolutely.
And I think
I love the
you can
paint
obviously
on
have
that
a mix
where
of
it
them
looks
as
like
well,
the
but
armor's just
you've
been
got
literally
a lot of
slapdash
different
with
ways
red
to kind of
paint.
lean into different ogre armies. And it's just nice to have a multi-part character, right, where you can immediately start to make him your own. One of the big things about ogres for their entire history is the idea of like big names, right? They carry that through
Yeah.
into this this battle tome as well, where the leader of your
Such a
force is
sick mod.
literally making a name for himself by achieving various feats. So being able to kind of have the pelts of the things he's defeated on him absolutely makes sense. Those units we've all seen before in different ways. The next unit is effectively a new type. These are the Maul Beast
these.
Cavalry and the Maul Beast Raiders. This is a 2-for kit, so you can make 2 different units. They function in a similar way. Both of them are cavalry units. The Maul Beast Raiders are your kind of fast-moving scout unit. The Maul Beast Cavalry are your hard-hitting shock cavalry. They're a little bit more armored. The guy in the back has more weapons, whereas the Morbeath Raiders have some ranged attacks.
Yeah.
These effectively replace the Mournfang cavalry in
They're
your ogre
smart,
list.
aren't
They fulfill a similar sort of role in the army.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about just how tough they are and how hard they hit in a little while. So these are all the models that come inside that new Ogre army set. Obviously, you need the Battle Tome and the War Scroll cards as well. This is the Battle Tome that comes for the Ogre Moor tribes inside that set. It's got this lovely sort of finish to it. You can see the Tyrant on the front.
got the
Obviously,
red
there'll be standard editions
foil
of the Battle
pages.
Tome out in due time, and you'll be able to get the
Love
models
that.
separately.
Yeah,
But if you want
huge.
first in on the new Ogres, this is the way.
I'm still disappointed.
Wasn't all we
Like,
saw
I
in that
love it
awesome
all,
video,
but
though. Do you want to show the
I
box?
want
I've
It's
got,
pretty
the
cool.
box
Something.
right here. So this is the box. It's really lovely.
wanted a bit more of a centerpiece
that is all
model.
the stuff you get in there. So just to confirm, you get 10 of those gluttons, you get the tyrant, you get 2 of the cavalry, and you get that big unit of Iron Guts, and then you get your battle tome in there as well. So it's a really lovely set.
Fantastic. Right. So, what else is there to talk about? Well, I guess we saw some things which fit in a different sort of part of the Ogre army with the sort of Moor Seekers component, right?
Yeah, so one of the bits of the Ogre force is the kind of tyrant and the Iron Guts and things like that. But another fairly major part of Ogre society are the Moor Seekers, the Butchers, and the things that follow in the
that
Butcher's
is
wake. The
wicked.
Butcher, again, is a model that's been out for a
Face is
very
shit,
long
though.
time,
I
well
like
worth
the
an
face.
update. This model is a phenomenally cool
He's
upgrade.
also deeply,
I-
deeply disturbing.
Yeah, you've I think you've got some strong feelings on exactly how unpleasant
I
this
just find it
particular model.
really
The model's
unsettling.
great, but he's definitely a bit grim,
and
isn't
the
he?
longer you look, the more disturbing it gets. The way he's holding the corpse in his hand, the gore sloshing around in his cauldron, and all this for what is essentially a really beefy ogre wizard.
Yeah, Butchers are sort of part wizard, part chef, part shaman, part mystic to the ogres. They're really important to ogre society. Ogre society basically is all about eating. All ogres at their core
Ogre's
have
not
this kind
too
of
bad. It's just-
unending
it looks-
hunger,
it looks
which they
a bit dirty,
interpret
doesn't
as
it?
the will of the god
Hey,
Mor,
my
who
name's
may or may not be
Butcher.
part of the greater pantheon of Gorka Morka, depending on which ogre you speak to. And Butchers try to tap into that arcane power, that kind of godly power, and manifest it as various different spells. A lot of their magic is to do with consuming something and then manifesting that into magic in some way, shape,
Yeah,
or form.
absolutely. There are more devotees of the Gulping God coming. This is one of those kits. These are the Ogre Cleavers, and they are kind of like butchers in training, right?
Yeah, these are fanatics
They're
of
smart.
Ogre
I like
Society
them.
who follow in the wake of the Butchers. They do a range of different things. After a battle, they'll collect up all the various body parts and offal and bits of enemies to throw into the cauldron for
they
the
are
Butcher.
some wrong
They
uns.
are kind of fanatically driven disciples of the Butchers and of the God Moor.
The combination of the miniatures design team and the heavy metal painting team have really just worked up a horror with these.
Yeah,
They are
I mean,
so
Blood for
good.
the Blood God is
Absolutely
crying out for these
gore,
miniatures,
gore
isn't
up
it?
to the elbows, cauldrons full of offal. These are incredible. They're not the only things within this Moor Seeker collective. That kit also makes another option. So you can either make the cleavers that you saw there, or you can make these, which are the Gutseers.
Yeah, Gutseers are even more horrible and sinister than the Butchers, if you can imagine that. These have tapped into the power of Moor, and the way that they work in game is that your wizards become more powerful and can effectively cast spells through these guys when they're nearby. The thing that I really like
cool.
about them from a miniature perspective is those gut plates. If you
Yep.
look at the gut plates on something like the Iron Guts, they have just armored guts, whereas
You know,
these
they look like teeth, maybe. But
yeah,
it's
these
just
guts look like intestines or offal or
Yeah,
and
man.
they're
guts,
rendered in
basically.
really like arcane parody.
They're
I love
wicked.
it. I think it's really. They look like they'd be loads of fun to paint.
Yeah.
Problem
And
is,
then,
see,
of
their
course,
destruction to lobby
the
shit.
centre of all of this is Red the Moor. This is the High Slaughtermaster, sort of like the head of this cult of the Gulping God. Eddie, what can you tell us about Red?
This is a brand new character
Look
for
at
the
it,
Ogre
I
Moor
would
tribes.
like some,
This
but-
is one of the most powerful characters in your Ogre army. One
The
of the most powerful
centrepiece
characters in
hasn't
all of
really done
Age
it
of
for me,
Sigmar.
to be honest.
Goes to battle on this enormous kind of cauldron construct that's pulled into battle by a Gorger.
cute,
Gorgers
but-
are the other part of that kind of Moor Seeker grouping. So Moor Seekers covers your Butchers,
Not like
your
Oryx Tar, that was a
Gorgers,
well-done
and all the kind of
centrepiece.
various fanatics that follow in their wake. You've got this enormous cauldron, which I assume is where the enemy army goes after the battle. They get thrown in there. And this is both an incredible miniature, but also an incredibly powerful piece for your Age of Sigmar armies. We'll have a little look at some of the rules around it later. And in lore terms,
Interesting.
this is the high prophet, the high priest of the Gulping God. So
I like this
ogres
guy
from
on the-
across
on
the
the
realms
left.
flock to
Who'd like to-
Red the Moor to hear what they've got to say.
I love the fact it's being pulled into battle by a Gorger as well. That's just really cool. So all of these models are coming in the not too distant future for the Ogre Moor tribes.
Yep.
Obviously, we need a battle tome button to learn all about it. And so there'll be the standard edition on the left or the gamers edition on the right to let you get what you need to start playing your games.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a
Absolutely
huge
not.
and sizable
Nobody buy
update of
that
things for
because-
the Ogre Moor tribes. We've shown you almost all of the new models
But not
for the
all.
ogres.
Yeah,
There's a
but
couple
fucking-
more things on the way. The other thing that's worth saying is a couple of the
End of the
existing units
edition.
do stick around as well. So particularly some of the big Beast Claw
Right,
Raider
so you'll get a year,
monsters.
won't
So
you?
if you've got some things like Stonehorns and stuff in your army, you can still absolutely use those, and they work really nicely alongside that Tyrant, which we have one on the table here, done up as a
It's got that beast claw.
yeah,
Raider
it got the kind of
vibe going on,
beast
hasn't it?
claw vibe. There with I'll turn him around so you can see the kind of pelt on his back, which is really cool.
Fantastic. Should we have a little bit of a look at some of the rules?
Yeah,
and
let's do
things
it.
And what you'll find inside the battle tome. So these are the faction rules, the battle traits for your ogres. What can you tell us,
Go.
Eddie?
Yeah, so we're not going to go through the entirety because there's a big old page of
Screen
rules
grab
there.
if
But
you really
yeah,
wanna
if you're an
know.
ogre player or you want to know what you're going to be up against in Age of Sigmar, take your screen grab now.
So declare.
Fundamentally, they've got two big army special rules. The first of the army rules is if you are in combat with an enemy unit at the end of the turn, or you've defeated an enemy unit in combat, so eaten them basically, you can just have some lunch. You can
Have a
take a chunk out of the enemy unit you're fighting, and you can get a bunch of different rules. So this encourages your ogre army to just get stuck in. If they're in the middle of the enemy army, they can start getting bonuses. There's some really strong stuff in there. You've got stuff like run and charge. You can make the unit harder to kill, make them hit harder. You can mess with enemy wizards, all sorts of stuff.
Fantastic.
Um,
Go on.
And then you've got the other special rule in there,
Yeah.
which is basically like a special thing where when you charge into an enemy unit, you can basically say, would you like to stay where you are and take the ogre's charge, in which
let's
case you
move
take a
the
bunch of mortal
target.
wounds.
Your opponent must move the target up to 3 inches. It can move through the combat ranges of your units and can end that move in combat. After your opponent has done so, roll a dice for each model in the unit using this ability that is within 3 of the target. Add on to the roll if using cut across the unit. Inflict 1 mortal damage. Okay, so on a 3, okay, that's quite a lot. So they move 3 away. However many models are in the unit you roll dice for, and on a 3 up, you do 1 mortal damage. And it's a 2 up if it's a Gutbuster. And then you pile in the 3 inches that they've gone away. Okay.
Or you can say, well, I'll give you the opportunity to move backwards if you
That's
like.
interesting.
In which case your opponent immediately cedes ground to your ogres. So it's really good for shifting units off objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting hit by that wall of iron and muscle is no joke. Obviously, the war scrolls have been looked at as well. So these are the Maulbeast cavalry that we showed you before. They come in the army set. And I talked about how just devastatingly powerful they are. The gut bite weapons do damage 3.
How many's in the unit?
Maulbeasts-
It's 3, isn't it? So what you do? 9 attacks. Is it 3? I'm assuming it's 3. Might be wrong.
do damage 2, 3 on the charge. These hit you like a landslide. So many attacks, incredibly dangerous.
I think this is a really powerful unit. If you're familiar with the way that
3
ogres work
damage
today,
each.
you'll know how Mournfang cavalry work. You'll be familiar with the stats. A lot of the stats are fairly similar to Mournfangs, but across the board, wherever there's a change, it tends to be a bit better.
They're strong,
For the
man.
Maulbeast cavalry, they are a really tough unit to deal with because they're excellent on the charge, because they're bonuses to charge, but they're also excellent when being charged. So they're
That's
a
what's in
really
it as
hard
well.
unit to kind of solve for your enemy. I think just a couple of these on the flanks would do great, or even investing on a big double-sized unit and slamming it into the middle of the enemy army could be very powerful.
Yeah, and you can see some of the special rules and things that are going on there, but I love the Ravenous counterattack rule. That means that you can be quite daring with them as a sort of like scouting units in your force. Brilliant. We talked a little bit about Red the Moor.
Oh, I didn't even see
it
that.
is a sort of like scouting
Enemy units
units
do
in
not
your
count as
force.
having charge.
Brilliant.
Or
We
combat with
talked
this
a little
unit.
bit about
That's
Red the Moor.
well done.
Here is rules. There is a lot to take in.
Yeah, this is one of the kind of big name special characters
18
of the
health.
ogres as well. We're not going to
Big.
go through everything on the
6
sheet. Feel free
experience.
to take a screenshot and peruse at your leisure. The things to call out are this is an incredibly durable character. 18 wounds, a 4-up save, and a ward save means that you've got to throw
a lot,
you've got to
right?
throw a lot of stuff at this guy before he goes down. A level 2 wizard, that's always going to be useful. The thing to really shout out is that command ability where effectively
ward.
you can pick an ogre unit nearby and that unit can benefit from
5 up ward.
as if it was in combat with an enemy unit. So all of those big list of buffs that you've got in your army special rules, you can just give those out to units nearby for a command point, and you can do some great stuff with that. You've got one of them in there which is run and charge. So right from the off, you can be like, I really want one of my units in combat on the first turn. You can just do it. You've also got an ability that gives ward saves to loads of nearby units. So this is just an absolutely really useful linchpin unit for the middle of your army.
Fantastic. So that's a lot of great stuff coming all on the way for the Mortal Realms with the Ogre Moor tribes and this incredible range refresh.
Yeah, we've got some close-ups here.
Should we have a look?
Just a sense of how big they are. I don't know if we've got a human for scale. He seemed to have wandered up. Maybe they ate him when we weren't looking.
So here you've got Red the Moor in the middle. You can see the size of him. He's really an absolute beefcake. And this enormous cauldron that he's got that's just full of offal. His great big spoon for stirring around the cauldron. Here on the side, you can see the Ogre Butcher. He's really quite an impressive model in his own right. And again, this huge cauldron. If I spin him around, you can see just how detailed these models really are.
Yeah, man, they're
Something
sexy.
to behold. Loads of things going on the back. Sort of, he's got these animal horns and things, so they look like they're carrying trophies and things all around. Just really great. It's an incredible looking kit.
Yeah.
I think the
you get a
miniatures
sense
team
of the
have.
size of him because that's a human, right? That he's holding on the butcher.
Yeah, no
there,
kidding.
so-
He's got half a person.
Yeah, got half a person there.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. So anyway, these have disturbed me for long enough. I'm really excited to see them come out. I think they're going to make quite a wave within the Mortal Realms. We are still not done yet. There is still more awesome stuff to talk about in this big summer preview. Next, we're going down to the Underhive.
That's all for Age of Sigmar. I'll keep on just in case. Necromon stuff always looks cool, doesn't it?
Welcome back and welcome to the Underhive with a new edition of Necromunda Skirmish. This is very exciting. I'm a big fan of Necromunda. I've played it since I was a 16-year-old boy, and it's great to see a new edition come. This is essentially an edition reset for Necromunda, and this core set here that you can see here, this 2-player battle box, is the perfect way to get into it. If you're an existing Necromunda player, we'll talk about some of the other ways too. Here you can see it on the screen. It pitches the Orlok, sorry, crikey, you can see me going to my favourite gang just automatically. It pitches the Goliaths against the Escher in a classic house matchup. Let's have a look at some of the kits that come with it. We've got a box here which we can use as a prop, but we've got some great images to show on the screen. It contains 2 gangs within the box. The first of which are these. They are the Blades of the Matriarch. This is all new models. We've not released these ones before, and there's some fantastic options in there. At the back, for example, you can see a Huntress with auto pistols and multi-harness. On the right-hand side, you've got one which is a Blade Maiden with a shock whip. You've got the Chem Witch, who's got the auto chem. It's that crazy looking flamer thing that you can see towards the back. Loads of fantastic options to really fill out an Escher gang. If you've already got an Escher gang, you'll probably want to add these to it because it gives you even more options and even more fantastic models. This is also a perfect starting point for an Escher gang in its own right. You could never have played a game of Necromunda, and these would be a wonderful jumping on point. They go head to head with the Goliaths. These are the Forge Smelters. Yeah. Goliaths, the House of Chains, known for their sort of industrial power. And all of these like heavily muscled, stim-enhanced warriors carrying weapons which kind of have an industrial feel. So you've obviously got the heavy stubber at the back, but there's loads of other weapons that might be less familiar. For example, you've got the Crumper Riveter Cannon on the right-hand side. The Lady Goliath is holding that. You've also got things like the Servo Medicae that you can see on the Goliath at the front. You've got one with a Chem Slugger. There's loads of different things going on so that you can either add these to an existing Goliath force or just use these as your first ever Goliaths. I really like the Ignition Cannon that's on the left-hand side. If
that's all,
you also find inside the box absolutely everything you need to get started playing. So you have the gaming map, the measurers, the dice, the templates, all the cards and bits and pieces. You have a full rule book. You also have some terrain to position your gang behind to start playing your games.
I just wish there was
essentially, this is a wonderful way to kick off Necromunda if you've just never played before and kickstart you into the new edition. So here you can see like a close-up on some of those other things as well. There's really a lot to enjoy here in these gangs. And if you look at the back of the box, you can see it all sort of laid out, sort of panning around, just full to the brim of great Necromunda stuff. There's more to come in this new edition than just this. It's worth saying that Necromunda, the thing that makes it so exciting is this continuous war between the great gang houses. So there are 6 gang houses that you might be
that's what
familiar
I've
with
got.
if you know Necromunda well. Essentially, you have the Orlocks, the Vansars, Cawdor, Dilac, Escher, and Goliath, and you can see them all displayed here. These are Underhive crew boxes. These contain models that you might already know if you are familiar with Necromunda, presented in a brilliant format that lets you essentially make one purchase to start an entire Underhive crew of your own. I'm a big fan of Necromunda. I've played it for years and years. I've got a really big Orlok gang, and I looked at the Underhive crew and was like, oh, that's essentially everything you need for a really fantastic Orlok crew. Things to talk about quickly while we're here. So obviously this box contains everything. If you just wanted the Necromunda rulebook, say you've got loads of Necromunda stuff and you don't want to buy a new the core box for some mad reason, then you can just buy the Necromunda rulebook. This is a large hardback book. It's just packed with lore and rules and all the good things that you would want to know about Necromunda. And it's been revised. They've made updates to the rules to sort of streamline things. Every role feels like it really matters. Games are very exciting. I'm really excited to sink my teeth into it. If you've got an existing gang and you want to know where you find the rules for that, there's 2 more publications coming along for you. These are Gangs of the Underhive, which deal with those 6 gang houses we talked about before, along with various hangers-on and hired guns. And you've got Gangs of the Outland, which deals with those gangs and sort of Necromunda denizens that operate outside of the normal sphere, things like the Ironhead Prospectors or the Ashwaste Nomads. And you'll find their rules along with the various hangers-on in those books. So essentially, pick up the core rule book, pick up the Gangs of the book that you need, and you are good to go with Necromunda Skirmish.
The Outland.
There's still more. Really useful to have on the side of the table. You've got the core gang tactics cards. I find having like physical things really useful when I'm playing Necromunda. It's a very tactile game. And you've also got the scenario cards, which help organize your campaign and get your games flowing really nicely. Also, if you want to like enhance your battlefield, get your game going, there's an enormous range of fantastic Necromunda scenery and terrain. The Zone Mortalis range is big and beautiful, and there's an addition to it now with these Factoria pipes. You'll find some Factoria pipes inside that core set, and there's even more if you buy this Factoria pipes box. And breathe.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about Necromunda is when you start to see people like really lean into the scenery and they've got their Zone Mortalis bit and then they start building up and you get the pipes and walkways and you can have like fights across the gantries and you can shoot people down from higher up and all that sort of good stuff.
Absolutely. My favorite games in Necromunda are always the ones which are played on multiple levels and you can blast someone off a 12-inch high precipice and watch them plummet.
I do like a bit of Ashwaste every now and again though.
Yes, I agree, but there's something
there is something cool about like having a little cross section of a city.
Yeah, I saw that for the first time and it just blew my mind. If you've never played Necromunda before, this really is a perfect jumping on point. Necromunda is a really exciting game. Ask any Necromunda fan and they will like enthuse about it, how great it is. And if you are an existing Necromunda fan and you're looking for new challenges, this is really great because the rules have been tweaked and streamlined and there's going to be new secrets to unlock. And it's going to be a good time to be fighting battles in the Underhive. The narrative that's been unfolding
Daft Target, if you want to know about
it's kind of done with, and I'm really excited to see where the team responsible
ask an Underworld fan. Obviously, they're going to gush about it all the time.
Yeah.
And we are still
not
done. Yep, we are sticking around in the 41st millennium, but we're going to go to Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team with this.
After years of searching, we're closing in on something unseen for decades.
Imagine a lot of spin when it's passed out. Oh. I like Eldar.
We are alive and well in this year of 2026.
And they
would have had
well
expedites on their 2026 Warhammer Bingo card.
This is a super exciting box set.
Really, right?
This is awesome. So obviously, every time we have a new Kill Team box set, it's very exciting. This
actually,
one I
that's
think will
Eldari,
be particularly interesting, not just for fans of Kill Team, but for fans
We've
of
got
Warhammer
Eldari
40,000.
and helmets.
Exodites are one of those last untapped awesome bits of Warhammer 40,000 lore. Whenever we get to kind of unveil a cool new corner of the Millennium, it's always very exciting. I think Exodites absolutely fall into that little corner.
If you don't know what Exodite is, very briefly, when the Eldari Society was starting to sort of way back before the fall, starting to fall into decadence and depravity, the Exodites were like, no, thank you very much, and they left main society and they settled on places far flung from the mainstay of Eldar society called Maiden Worlds.
Beautiful jungle planets full of rich flora and fauna and full of all sorts of weird, wonderful creatures.
Full of me surprise,
and then
they were
Eldar Society was destroyed in the fall. The Exodites were one of the few remaining bits
They're
that
very
left.
AOS
Now in
looking,
the 41st millennium, they have these pockets of idyllic beautifulness across Warhammer 40,000. Obviously, this being Warhammer 40,000, if you've got something lovely, everyone wants to knock it over and invade
There's
it.
probably a war coming.
There's always a war coming.
Nice.
So whenever their planets are invaded, they have to defend them with whatever tools they can find available. And the closest thing available is giant reptilian beasts that they can ride into battle.
Should we have a look at the
their
models?
foes with.
So here we go. These are the Exodite Dragon Masters. Eddie, this is a
I
very
really
unusual
like
kill
them.
team, right?
Yeah, so this is a kill
mounts.
team first and foremost. It is really kind of weird, but really fun, unusual kill team. It is effectively 3 models and 2 little hangers on, so it's immediately very, very elite. In terms of how it plays in kill team, it plays in a really interesting and unique and unusual
Headshot
way.
that.
All of
You
your
could run
units
that
have
anywhere.
APL 4, which is wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
In kill team, so you can do all sorts of cool maneuvers. They are very, very fast, as you would imagine, faster than almost anything else in kill team. They can leap up across bits of terrain. So if you think that your sniper at the back of the battlefield is nice and safe, perched on
That
his
looks-
ruin, think again, because a giant
They
reptilian
look
with an
amazing.
Eldari warrior
That
on the back
little
is racing
one
towards you,
looks
ready to chop your head off. You have 3 very
Look at that.
different kinds of characters in there. Effectively, you've got a warrior archetype, a mage archetype, and
That's
a sniper
so
archetype.
shit, isn't it?
And they all
For a
do
new
very
sculpt.
different things for your kill team.
Yeah, so here on the screen you can see the 3 different ones laid out. Essentially, you have the Clan Blade, which is the close combat one. You have the Ley Stalker, which is the one with the sniper rifle, and then you have the Stone Singer, which is the Exodite who focuses on using psychic powers. And then they
Yeah,
also
they
have these little
fucking
beasts that
stay
run around
with
with
that.
them, and those are called Dracolites.
Yeah, and they
Dracolites,
look
they are
familiar to, if you
turd.
know kind of how Eldar Craft World work. There's a little bit of the Autarch to this one. There's a little bit of the Farseer to this one.
Absolutely.
There's a little bit of the kind of Ranger.
Mate,
So
stop
they have
showing
a kind of
that to
common
me.
ancestry with the Eldar of the Craft Worlds, but they
They're
have gone off in
incredible.
a
I
slightly
really, really
different
like
sort of
them.
cultural direction. And the biggest difference really is that they ride on the back of these cool reptiles.
Yeah.
But a really fun kill team, a very different kill team. And I think probably going to be a very popular kill team as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not the only thing you get in this box. You've also got a bunch of orcs in here. The way that the orcs work in this kill team is a little bit like the Red Terror set that we had recently, where they are effectively non-player operatives, and you can play a bunch of different games against these, either as a 1-player or a 2-player series. There is a campaign in the box which tells the story of an orc war which has landed on this planet. The orcs, who are beast snaggers, basically find a world full of monsters, and they're like, "This is a paradise.
Let's
Look at all
snag
these,
some beasts."
look at all these giant beasts we can hunt." The Eldar are obviously much less keen on that than the orcs, and they have to try and drive off the orcs. So you can play through this campaign. Also, of course, all the stuff in this box you can also use in Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Yeah, just to give a shout out to that Kill Team Exodite book, it's really cool. I got to have a look through it the other day. It's got great lore in it. There's stories from the perspective of the Eldari Exodites. There's
Can't
also
wait to get them
a
free.
campaign has some great missions in it. There's
That's the
guides
whole
on how to
kill
set
team.
up make your battlefield
3
to look like
dudes
a
and
maiden
2 little
world. It's
beasts.
a wonderful book. They've done an amazing job sort of bringing this to life.
Yeah. Worth saying, one of the other ways that you can build up the kill team that you get in
So you're
this
better
set
off
is
getting
as
it if you're
another
into
unit,
orcs,
which is
isn't it?
called the Dragon Knights. These are the archetypal, I suppose, the closest thing we've got to the classic version of an Exodite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very reminiscent of some of the very cool Warhammer 40,000 art from some of the early editions. This is effectively a fast cavalry unit of Exodites riding on those huge reptilian beasts. And they work a little bit in game, I suppose, like your Shining Spears, where they could charge in. They actually have laser lances, which is the same weapon that Shining Spears have. So they punch pretty hard, but as well as the rider on the back fighting,
You've
who's a
also
good fighter.
got a crazed reptile
Some
beast
laser
helping you
ones.
fight, right?
Absolutely. So they hit really, really hard. They are they're not super durable, but they're a little bit more durable than some of the other
a
kind
metal
of
lance and a
combat
tank
units
got
you
a
might find in
lightsaber,
an
yeah.
Eldari army. So they're going to be quite a useful little unit. I think you will see them dotted around various Warhammer 40,000 battlefields and Eldar armies quite soon. The other forces in this box, the Dragon Masters, you can also use in Warhammer 40,000. And the way that they work is that each one is effectively an individual
They're so
character
good.
in
I
your
really,
Eldari
really
army.
like
So
them.
you've got the kind of lone op sniper, you've got your fast-moving hero, you've got a kind of buff support piece. So effectively, this one kill team provides you with 4 different data sheets for Warhammer 40,000 Eldari army. So it's a really flexible little
no kidding.
clump of stuff that you can add into your Eldari force.
Yeah, so Kill Team Exodite
but it's still only
contains 3
3.
Exodites and the 2 Dracolites. Obviously, these models will be available separately down the line. So if you wanted to put loads into your army, that's completely legit. There are loads of reasons that an Eldari force might have Exodites in it as well. When you look at the history of the Eldari, the Craftworld Biel-Tan is so affronted at the state of the Maiden Worlds that they aggressively defend Maiden Worlds from any interference. Obviously, Alitok is known for the Rangers who travel around the Webway and they visit all the Maiden Worlds on a regular basis.
It's one of the main reasons the Eldari come into conflict with other races, right? They don't seek it out particularly, but one of the things that they have is this sort of cultural association with these planets, and whenever anyone invades, it's almost like it's sacrilegious, right? This
is sort of protecting the last true ancient Eldari, really.
This is almost always why the Eldari will get involved in a fight somewhere, is that the craft worlds can fly off, but planets can't really. So when the Imperium shows up and decides to build a Forge world on your wonderful Paradise world, you have to kind of go and kick them off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth having a little look at the models, I think. So here we have a stunt beast of these things, the beast who want to
like
straight
back go at the heavy metal. At least I think there was like
piece sold out of the you're as excited about these as we are, because they're very exciting. What else is there to say? We have come to the end of our
That was a lot of stuff, Adam.
It was a lot of stuff. And we said it would be about 90 minutes, and we're very, very nearly there. So thank you if you are still with us and enjoying the Warhammer preview. It's been lovely to have you with us. I should round up. There have been a couple of questions floating around. One of them I can field right now. Somebody asked in the chat, what's the cost to the Warhammer Academy? The cost is nothing. It is free. You'll need to log in and sign up, but it is designed to help you just get started with your Warhammer journey. So it doesn't cost anything. Just join in and start learning about Warhammer and sort of honing your skills and gaining confidence as you do so. If you've got more questions, well, we've got good news. A few weeks back, Eddie and I did a Q&A, and we had a nice time doing it. So we're going to do another one in a couple of...
That's it, guys. Yeah, it's fine. I really like the mods at the end. The ogres look amazing, but I just wish there was a better centerpiece. It's fine. It's not horrible or anything. It's just... I'm not necessarily a big fan of like a dude on a big cart thing. Like, I don't know. I like a centerpiece to be an actual centerpiece. That makes no sense, but I know. Yeah, I was hoping for something else, and I sort of knew ogres was going to come. I was hoping there'd be something else as well, but there wasn't. But yeah, I will probably get them because they look fucking well cool. It's a shame they're destructing because it means they'll be shit, but it is what it is. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Laters.